Rap music as an art form originated in the late 1970s in the heavily populated South Bronx area, according to Rose and Black Noise. It originated during an important social and political time, and the lyrics reflected those socio-political themes.
But I choose to reflect the times and the situations in which I find myself.
Quickly becoming a central medium for youth expression. Rebollo Gil and Morris argue that it allowed the youth of these communities to have a voice and share it with the world, and since then, it's become one of the most influential youth movements according to Dyson and Know What I Mean. According to Bradley and Dubois in the Anthology of Rap, it gave them the opportunities they never thought they'd have. It was lyrical expression through limited resources, 2 records and a mixer. Rap and its lyricism was considered to be a highly mental art form, where rappers would require the ability to memorize, recite, and analyze a mental catalog of verses. Poetry.
It can't kick a plan, then a crowd burst. Deep, I be digging it with the buck verse. Us, we be freaking till dawn, peace and I.
But then in Bashir's article, published in Hughes magazine, it states that hip-hop music was once a revolutionary youth movement and has now turned into a highly commercialized product, sold to our youth glazed with materialism and misogyny. Rebollo Gil and Mora made an important point that rap music has expanded to all different parts of the world and reinvented itself many times in accommodation to those different regions. And so the lyrical content of all rap music must not be reduced to solely sex and violence. But they do acknowledge that a considerable amount of popular rap music produced for popular media airplay contains obscene amounts of sexist talk and images. All simply because sex and violence sells, and rightly so. Because according to Usher, in the book A Rhyme is a Terrible Thing to Waste, the income generated from rap sales has grown from $700 million in 1991 to $1.15 billion just 6 years later in 97. In a research done by Hunter and Soto, called Women of Color in Hip-Hop, The Pornographic Gaze, they found an extraordinary amount of repulsive data from these popular rap songs. They analyzed the lyrics and came up with 2 different complexes of women described in these songs: the sex worker and the Bonnie and Clyde complex. But they did not analyze the difference of the lyrics in the old school popular rap compared to popular rap now. Also, Bashir argues in the article Hip Hop, A Lost Revolution, that this music has become highly popularized because of the big record companies promoting this kind of music that sells. Songs about sex, drugs, and violence. Which brings me to question why, as an audience, we inadvertently choose to buy these popular records flooded with connotations of misogyny, violence, and drug use now. What can we do about it? Is there anything that can be done? What does that say about our culture if this is the kind of rap music that makes billions of dollars? To start off the project, I decided to do some textual analysis on the top rap songs from 1980 to 2013, and here's what I found.
The
song that made it all possible. Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang struck audiences with a new flavor and made it possible for rap music to go mainstream. It peaked at a number 4 on the hip hop and R&B Billboard charts in 1979. It was just a simple dance song with rapping on top of a disco record. The next big song that hit the charts at number 4 was The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five in 1982 with Sugar Hill Records.
It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under. It's like a jungle sometimes, it makes me wonder how I keep from going under.
This song speaks so much truth about the struggle of life living in the projects of New York. They rap about real threats that make life a living hell and extremely stressful.
Broken glass everywhere, people pissing on the stage, you know they just don't care. Push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
It warns kids about the limited opportunities in the ghetto.
My son said, Daddy, I don't want to go to school cause the teacher's a jerk. He must think I'm a fool. And all the kids smoke reefer. I think it'd be cheaper if I just got a job, learn to be a street sweeper.
All the number book takers, thugs, pimps, and pushers, and the big money makers, driving big cars, spending 20s and 10s, and you wanna grow up to be just like them. Smugglers, scramblers, burglars, gamblers, pickpocket peddlers, even panhandlers. You say I'm cool, I'm no fool, but then you wind up dropping out of high school. Now you're unemployed, all non-void, walking around like your pretty boy Floyd. Turned stick-up kid, but look what you done did. Got sent up for an 8-year bid.
It's very clear to see that this song was made to enlighten people, to let them know about real struggles, real problems, real life.
That your life was lost, you was cold and your body swung back and forth. But now your eyes sing the sad, sad song of how you live so fast and die so young.
Soon after, the girl rapper group Salt and Peppa came out with a hit at number 4 in 1988 about how women should be able to dance however they feel without the threat of being molested.
Ready for the kill. Stepping on a dance floor. But if a guy touch my body, I just put him in check. I said we just met. We can't do that yet. I'm not a pickup. No, this ain't a stick up. I'm not stuck up. Yeah. I turn the kick up and just rock, baby. Pop, don't stop.
Then in 1989, the rap group De La Soul dominated the charts with their song Me, Myself, and I. A song that's all about being yourself, being an individual, and shunning stereotypes.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door.
In 1993, Nothing But a G Thing with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg came out. And the song has no central theme other than introducing a newcomer rapper, Snoop Dogg. Both Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg rap about their skills on the mic, their love for Compton. Snoop Dogg briefly raps about using contraceptives when engaging in sex with a woman to not run the risk of getting her pregnant or catching STDs. In '96, The Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony hit number 1 on the hip-hop and R&B charts. It was a song dedicated to mourn the people that they have lost in their lives. If we fast forward to the year 2000, the number 1 hip-hop and R&B song was Hot Boys by Missy Elliott. A song about the love for bad boys, nice cars, and money, with a catchy chorus and moaning vocals throughout the song.
Cook boy, I'll give you more. I'm a fly girl, and I like those.
In 2002, Nelly's Hot in Here was a number 1 hit on the Hot 100, not just the hip-hop and R&B charts. The entire song is about dancing in a club that gets too hot and people are forced to take off their clothes, with moaning vocals in the background. Nelly raps about 3 central themes: women, fame, and money. In the early 2000s had similar themes of money, sex, women, power, and fame, such as 50 Cent in the Club, Candy Shop, Mr. Cheeks' Lights, Camera, Action. And while the more popular rap songs had these themes, the more vulgar their music videos became. I conducted an online survey of which 40 people answered. When asked what their thoughts were on popular rap music, 10 people responded negatively, and only 2 people responded positively. The most positive response was, hilarious, it's all a joke. The most negative, I think it's dumb. They just thrive because it's something that people think to and get pumped up. There's no ingenuity behind their lyrics. Out of 15 people that answered what their thoughts on Lil Wayne's song was, 67% responded negatively, and 27% responded positively. The most positive response was, I love it because of the lyrics and the beat of the music. The most negative response was, WTF, what kind of question is this? Lil Wayne is not a rapper anymore, and if you argue that he is, you have no appreciation for the damn genre. And a girl responded with, I do not like this song at all. As a woman, it makes me feel uncomfortable. It makes me lose hope in our generation because of the rampant objectification of women. It is not good for girls younger than me to be exposed to music like this because it teaches low self-worth as anything but a sex object. What are the first few words that come to mind when you think of rap music?
Is get money. Money, weed. Party, ratchet.
Money over
KRS-One really says is that hip-hop is two things. To be hip is to be smart, to be intelligent. To be hoppin' is to be able to be in the groove, be able to, you know, live that rhythm. Hip-hop is really, it's a way of life. I mean, I just love hip-hop because it's honest. It's rebellious and like, it's what punk rock used to be. There's such weird different types of hip-hop. You have crews from like 88 called Foo Schnickens, and you're like, who the hell's Foo Schnickens? And you hear them rap, and they're rapping faster than Twista. Every guy raps, the other guy finishes his rap, and then the other guy finishes his rap. So there's real art. Like if you go to a real underground hip-hop show, you won't see a Mac. You'll see a guy with two turntables, a stack of vinyls, and he's switching vinyls, you know, and he's switching vinyls, and the DJ's pumping up the crowd, and he's switching vinyls, making beats.
Popular rap music today is sort of a disgrace.
I actually make fun of the lyrics sometimes.
But the beat was catchy.
There's no real lyricism in it anymore. Like, they're just making shit up and it's all repetition.
Just cultivating this whole idea that you gotta be rich, you gotta have the nice clothes, you gotta have the nice girl, you gotta have the nice whip.
Now it's more about getting laid, getting money.
It's not sending out a clear message anymore. It's not as moving as it used to be. It's not talking about real problems. The real problems are garbage.
They created a sound out of two turntables, meaning two records and a microphone. And they made something beautiful. They made poems, they made, you know, struggles, protests. Really actualized the feeling of, you know, what it is to live in the inner city, what it is to be, you know, chased by cops for being black. I think because the corporate record companies have figured out that this is what makes money.
What's getting known is the message of sex and youth and drugs and alcohol.
There's no money anymore in talking about your struggles.
The producers, like I've said in the past, are saying, oh, well, that's all good, but what we need is more of this, more provocative. You know, we want to hear about money.
When hip-hop first came out, record labels like, what the hell is this, you know? Who do we put on? Who do we sign? So they signed everybody. Because they didn't know what made money, what didn't make money, right? And now they pinpointed where you make the most amount of ad revenue, marketing.
That's sad, but that's what the audience wants to hear. And because that's what they want to hear, the real message doesn't get real airplay. I personally feel that we're evolving in this generation with this rap.
We have Lil Wayne, who just honestly can't even rap. He starts talking about, you know, how many girls he gets with. It just makes you an egomaniac, you know? It really shows him that, like, you know, girls are easy. Girls are, you know, all you gotta do is get them drunk, get them in bed. Immediately taking it down to sex. This is not how you approach women.
What are they translating it into, and what is hip-hop going to be later on when they're our age? Like, it's just getting worse and worse.
I think once something is that big, people are going to listen to what you say. And if what you're saying is, you know, as you said, misogyny, money, materialism, consumerism, that's what people are going to act like.
It's a sad, sad thing.
It's giving them the wrong idea because they're going to grow up thinking this is what I want to be when I grow up.
It's going to have kids who are lazy, unmotivated. It's going to have kids who are just going to be in school. They're going to be like, why am I in school? You know, it teaches our kids that money is very easily accessible, and the truth is money isn't. It's very hard to, you know, earn a living now. Unemployment is very high, and especially it's even higher for, you know, kids our age. It's even higher for kids of minorities. I'm not saying it's hip-hop's role or rap's role to tell kids how to act, but when you're saying all of this in the media, it's a side effect of it, you know? Some kids are taking it the other way. They're taking it as truth, while a lot of these guys are taking it as, hey, this is just a joke. KRS-One has a song. The song is called Criminals in Action, and it talks about the CIA, really talks about how we're being surveilled. At the end of the song he says, I want all my scholars to unite with all my players. Call your congressman, call your mayor. You know, they want people to be politically active. KRS-One knows he has an audience, and he knows that he can affect people. We need to show kids that, you know, again, they need to look at the lyrics. Do you like what they're saying? Who does that make you? Are you that kind of person? Are you a misogynistic person? So when you look at that and you say, why am I listening to this? And I think a lot of kids are going to wake up and they're going to say, this is stupid. You know, I can rap better than this. And what if I can? And then kids will start making their own groups. Kids understand that the world is more fragile than they think it is, and they need to be a part of it.
They'd be more conscious and definitely more educated about it.
Start telling people that, hey, this is completely ignorant, this is making people more ignorant. I think maybe people need to start looking at the lyrics and stop listening to the beats and saying, oh yeah, the beat sounds good. Well, the beat sounds good, but what are they actually saying? Then once you figure out what they're actually saying, you're like, am I smarter because this guy said this? Or am I becoming dumb? Are you enlightened? Are you, you know, is your dollar going to really good entertainment? Really old hip-hop really told kids, you know, get out there, vote, protest. You know, if you don't see the world as you want it, make something about it. Reinvent hip-hop. Maybe we need to look back at the basics, back at what KRS-One said. What does Nas say? He was like almost like a journalist to us. The beauty of hip-hop is that it's organic. You know, although it started in the Bronx in New York in the late 70s and 80s, it's all over the world. It's taken up everywhere.
I would so take class. I would take it as an elective, probably during the summer. But I would so take it.
After doing all the textual analysis from the lyrics of old school popular rap songs and popular rap songs now, it was clear that there was a change in the messages that these songs publicized. There's no doubt that in order to be a popular rap artist now, you have to rap about money, women, and fame. As to why this makes the most money, I talked to enough people to come up with a few reasons why. Conscious and political rap is just too controversial in this politically correct nation. The general public chooses songs about partying and drugs rather than current issues because the songs about partying and drugs help us forget about real-world problems, but at the same time enable the very same real-world problems. Problems in our generation like unemployment, apathy towards drug use, and recent rape culture. I'm not saying that popular rap music is making rapists and drug addicts, but I think it's desensitizing our generation to the idea.
And that wasn't always the case. Old popular hip-hop really told kids to get out there and make something out of their lives, to stop playing into their stereotypes. We just don't see enough of that anymore in popular media.
Most people I have talked to agree that popular rap music now is a joke, that it shouldn't be taken seriously, and the problem lies when it is taken seriously. Rap nowadays is about things that the average person will never experience. Things like expensive cars, hot supermodels, millions of dollars, and I think that fantasizing about these things is not going to help our generation get out there and make the best out of our situations. I think that this music is popular simply because it's popular. For example, the song Love Me by Lil Wayne, everyone that I've talked to agrees that it's repulsive and completely misogynistic, but it keeps playing on the radio, and people keep listening to it. It's just always there. It's overplayed so much that people are just so familiar with it, making it very popular. When I was researching these songs, I listened to them many times and dissected their lyrics. The more I listened to these songs like Bangs to Make Her Dance, All Gold Everything, The Motto, etc., I noticed that I would get really excited listening to them. I felt cool listening to these songs, and even though I knew the lyrics were completely moronic, I would still sing along to them. They were irresistibly catchy, which really surprised me. But I also saw some light in hip-hop. I discovered 2 new artists that are becoming increasingly popular and have good messages to bring. Macklemore is an artist that's been dominating the #1 spot on the charts, and his messages are something other than the typical money, sex, violence, drugs. it's individualism. Also Kendrick Lamar, whose album Section 80 deeply inspired me, he raps about our drug-induced generation. Which brings me to another thought. The people distributing this music and making it so popular are the big record companies that believe this is what sells. When I asked people what words came to mind when they thought of popular rap music, people replied with words like money, cars, women, gold, etc. Very few people replied with words like poetry and rhythm. If Brandt's definition of a literacy sponsor is taken into consideration, the corporate record labels have a firm grip on rap music. The sponsorship that rap literacy receives is from a giant business with the sole intentions of record sales and no responsibility to how they do so. What if that sponsorship was shifted towards an educational institution, where the intentions are not sales? Would the sponsorship of a school change the way that rap literacy is developing? Would it take away the power that companies have over the music we listen to? Is it even possible for an entity, in this case a school system, to interfere with the literacy sponsorship of another entity? While it's a phenomenon that Brandt leaves unanswered in her essay, it's one that we should begin to consider. I believe that rap literacy classes should be offered in schools, just like any other extracurricular course, and hope that it'll teach students to think critically about these lyrics. Popular media has a huge effect on the music we listen to, now more than ever. We need to take control and change the way that our generation is thinking about our music.